And welcome to the Writer's Life, a place where you get the sights, sounds, smells, tastes of my particular writer's life and where you get the truth about the writer's life. Let's see if I can't clean up my act here a little bit. As I belch up my coffee, afternoon coffee. Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button and tap that bell for notifications so you don't miss out on one exciting video. How exciting they are. So tragic story. This really happened like 3 years ago. A couple I know who live in a massive house, beautiful cars, all the stuff anybody could ever want, country clubs, everything. Apartment in New York. I think even a place in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, all this stuff. They get all this stuff. You know, their life must be great. And lo and behold, they start having an argument about money, bills, credit cards, all that stuff, piling up. And they're not young anymore. They're in their 60s. So doesn't the poor woman fall down the stairs, and she passes away. Now, they had all the stuff in the world. You know, of course, money does buy happiness, but certainly makes things easier. But it's sad because their last conversation together, if you even want to call it that, the last time they communicated was a bitter argument over money. Now, why should that be at their age and with their means? So it gets me to thinking, you know what? The older I get, the more I realize I don't want any of those things. I don't want that stuff. I don't need the pressure of, like the big house, the new car every year, the country clubs, the whatever anyone chooses to purchase to make themselves feel better inside, to fill that gap, that hole that's there, I guess, or to make themselves look great in front of the neighbors, keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. Because how can you live in a certain community and not belong to the country club? People will whisper, they must be broke. Now, wouldn't that be awful? Listen, I've been broke, and I've had a lot of money, and I've been broke again, and then I've had money, and then I've been broke again, and I've had money, and it just is like this cycle or whatever. And I don't worry about it anymore, especially now that my kids are grown. And, but I think it's just a sad reality when people are, they're controlled by stuff they don't need. And what makes it worse is like social media, listen, I'm as guilty as this shit as anybody else. When I'm like in places like I was just in Egypt, I'm snapping selfies of myself and all this, and people are like, wow, doesn't Vin have the life, the adventurous life, or photos of me in Italy or Turkey or Morocco or wherever. A friend of mine was just talking to me about going to Morocco. So it's on my mind. And, you can make your life look so glamorous. You get to choose your pictures and you can enhance them to make them look better if you want and all that sort of stuff. And people must be like, wow, he's a rich and famous writer, huh? Wow. What a great life. Nobody's life's that great. I'm unhappy about certain things. I'm never going to be 100% happy, and nor should we be. Because if we were 100% happy, we'd be fucking robots, right? We wouldn't have any feelings, really. So, and it makes, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but it kind of, like if, whenever you have you're not happy about something. When something good happens, you feel even better about them, right? So I've set about this year, and it started last year, getting rid of everything. Because, well, first of all, there's a practical reason for that, because I'm going to move at the end of this year, late fall. Where I'm going, nobody knows, because I don't even know. There's okay, once again, I'll digress, but there's a problem with having too many choices. Sometimes when you have too many choices, there's like no choice. It's like Confucius say, when too many choice, no choice. It's like speaking of Confucius, did you know I've been to his birthplace in Nepal? Anyway, it's not really very. There's not much to it. A couple of bricks. Anyway, but like it's like a Chinese menu. It's like there's like so many choices. Like I think I'm with Chinese tonight now. See how these things happen? See how the brain works? My genius brain. Chinese menu. Oh my God. I think my mother dropped me on my head and never told anybody when I was a little baby. She's probably like, uh-oh, shit. I'm not going to say anything. Cover up the lump with like Play-Doh. Anyway, I wonder where I come from. Back to the thing at hand. Yeah, so I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff, like anything I don't need. Like I still have this fucking TV here. Can you see it? Do you know that hasn't been plugged in 3 years? It was my father-in-law's, and I offered it back to Laura, my ex, and my daughter's mom. And she's like, thank you, but no, I don't need it back. I just thought she might want it back because it was her dad's or whatever. There might be some sentimental value to it, but I think even she's got too much stuff. But and there's other stuff. But there's not much left to get rid of. All I want is my books, my Jeep, my drums. I have a couple of laptops. I have my cell phone, which makes me which makes us all cyborgs. That's really all I need. I have my backpack, and when I travel, I've proven I can live for like a month or two out of a backpack, and even then, still not use all the clothes I brought. But you do laundry naturally, but the simpler the life for me, the better. That to me is success. Like I just live a simple life. I have no significant other except for my fans. They are all my significant others. And that means you and you and you and you. I see you. And there's no complaints. No complaints whatsoever. No arguments. I don't have arguments with my wife or my girlfriend or anything because I ain't got one. And that is like one of the best things about my life is that there are no complications like that. Because when two smart people are living together and sharing the same living space and have different opinions about things, they're going to knock heads sometimes. And it's going to get heated. Trust me, I know. So getting rid of all your physical stuff, all that stuff, is a step, in my opinion, in the right direction. It lightens the load, and it not only lightens like your physical load, it lightens the load that you carry inside your chest. Like Hemingway said, writing's a lonely life, but it's the hardest job there is. But I would never have done anything else, and I'm still just as passionate about it as I was when I started almost 30 years ago. When I did have those heavy responsibilities, when I did have the houses, when I did have the cars, when I did have all that stuff. So anyway, I know this one, I kind of rambled and I kind of digressed and whatever, but that's the right is life. All right, speaking of which, I got to get back to it. I'm also starting a Kickstarter program for the new Steve Jobs book, The Plumber. And this is happening to me more and more. I skipped a whole Steve Jobs novel I forgot that I wrote last year, I, the Judge. It went up on Kindle Vella, and I've totally forgotten about it. So I got to get that in the works too. Anyway, a lot of books coming up. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow, God willing. Ciao, ciao.